Hello, my name is Josh Parrish, and I've lost about 65 pounds in the last year. And I'd like to talk to you a little bit about some of the methods I used and the approach that I took to losing weight and keeping it off. Um, in high school, I wasn't overweight. I played football, powerlifting, ran track, played basketball, and so I stayed pretty fit. I played a year of football at Austin College. And then after I stopped working out every day for school, I started gaining a little weight. And then after I had two kids, I got that classic dad bod and ended up weighing 285 pounds. I've since lost about 65 pounds and I'm at about 220. And I'd like to just go over some of the things that worked for me losing weight, some of the things that didn't work for me, and why losing weight can just be so hard sometimes. So again, my name is Josh Parrish. I was an athlete growing up all through school, played some college football. Now I've got one of the classic dad bods, or I had one. I'm trying to work on that. I've lost about 65 pounds in about a year. I've started and stopped and tried to lose weight a lot in the past and wasn't successful. I'd lose a little, but I'd gain it all back. So I think I finally found a good way for me to lose weight and keep it off. And I like to say I'm a victim of too much information because when you aren't knowledgeable about a subject, you go online looking for answers, and there's all kinds of people on there that can say anything they want without having, reputable sources. It's hard to find what is actually true, what's good advice, and what's not. And so that just made things harder for me. So why weight loss was so hard for me is that, it is hard and it takes effort. I've heard people talk about they've lost weight and how it was easy. They would just stop drinking Cokes or just change one thing and they would lose weight and keep it off. But for me, it takes constant effort. It's not something that I can just change one thing and fix everything and then just not have to concentrate on. Motivation is very important. And I found that motivation would come in waves. Some days I'd be excited and ready to work out and, I'd feel proud and good about myself. But then other days it'd just be like I couldn't do anything right and I would lose all my motivation. The scale wouldn't move that week and I'd get frustrated. Food also just tastes so good and it's so easy to overeat, even when I'm not hungry. And setting unrealistic goals, comparing myself to other people, seeing how easy they lose weight. It's discouraging when you're not on the same level as some other people that you read about. And having access to too much information online can be a blessing, but usually it's just a curse. On one hand, it's a wonderful thing to have input from people on what is right and what's wrong on weight loss, but on the other hand, there's so much information that's conflicting or wrong that deciphering it is really difficult. And one thing that I try to do is trust but verify. Trust that people are telling you the right information, but verify that it's actually correct. So some things that didn't work for me was intermittent fasting, and the idea is that you get a certain amount of time throughout the day that you get to eat. It's known as a feeding window. I went all in on this method, and I put a lot of time and effort into it because reading online, everyone says that it works great, and it somehow forces your body to burn fat as fuel, and so you'll keep all your muscle and lose all your weight. I lost a little bit of weight doing this, but I think that was mainly from me just eating less overall. After about a month of eating one meal a day, I started slowly cheating, and I'd eat more than I should, and I'd go over my window, and it ended up making me gain all that weight back. One specific diet I tried was the ketogenic diet. It's where you limit your carbohydrate intake to less than 20 grams of carbs per day. Again, I lost a little bit of weight with this, but I ended up overeating on the other types of micronutrients, on the fat and protein, and so I'd gain it all back. Another thing I tried was just lifting weights and not doing any cardio. I was not so successful with that. I gained weight. I did gain a little muscle, but I didn't lose any fat. And the last thing I did was just ignoring it and hoping it would go away. And surprise, surprise, that doesn't work at all. That's actually how I got to my highest weight. Ended up getting high blood pressure and fatty liver disease. So one thing that did work for me, or a few things that worked for me, is tracking calories. That's probably the most important contributor to my weight loss. Weight loss occurs when you eat less calories than your body needs. And to do that, you have to know how many calories you're eating and how many calories your body needs to maintain your weight. And you find the first number by tracking everything you eat in a calorie tracker. In my case, I use MyFitnessPal. And the second number you find by using a TDEE calculator, which calculates your total daily energy expenditure, which is an estimate of how many calories your body needs to maintain your weight. And I've got a short video on what that is and how it works.
TDEE, Total Daily Energy Expenditure. In its simplest term, TDEE is the total amount of energy you use each day. This accounts for all forms of energy use, be it exercise, chores, digesting, and even simply living. In scientific literature, energy usage is split into more specific categories, but we'll get to that some other time. The main gist is that TDEE consists of energy spent on every single thing you do. Now, why is this important in fitness? Well, our weight is directly tied to the amount of energy we use versus the amount of energy we take in. In this sense, energy is measured through calories. Take in more calories, aka energy, than we burn, then weight increases. Burn more calories, aka use more energy than we take in, then weight goes down. Of course, intake of calories is from the food we eat, which explains the magical calorie number found in our food labels. Knowing this, we can see why TDEE is important.
So, again, knowing your TDEE, that's, kind of the key for losing weight for me. Knowing how many calories you're eating versus how many calories your body needs to stay the same weight helps you find, how much food you're supposed to be having. I would set my goal as a 500 calorie deficit, and I would just eat up to 500 calories less than my TDEE. And on top of that, I also began doing cardio like running and Camp Gladiator, and exercise just helps create a larger deficit by burning calories, and it also helps just general fitness like your heart rate and your blood pressure. One way to make sure that I don't eat too much is doing meal prep, which is where you prepare your weekly meals all in one day so that you have healthy meals that you know are going to hit your calorie goals readily available. And balance is also important in everything. Balancing eating healthy foods and eating things that maybe not be healthy, but still fit within your calorie goals. If I wanted a cake for dessert, I would, leave some room for me to have the cake and then just track it so that I know I need to eat a little bit less somewhere else. And then setting smaller, obtainable goals for myself help me stay motivated and stay on track. If I lost a certain amount of weight, I would buy myself some new clothes or give myself a cheat meal or something like that. But, it can be overwhelming thinking, I need to lose 50 pounds. But if you say, hey, I need to lose 5 pounds in the next 2 weeks, it's a lot easier to meet. In conclusion, weight loss, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. In the past, I'd try to lose as much weight as quickly as possible, and it'd be miserable, and I would go right back to my old habits. Changing the way I exercise and eat has been a game changer, and I don't feel like I'm neglecting or punishing myself. I eat whatever I want within reason and just track it so that I know, if I need to eat less somewhere else, I can adjust that. I tried many different ways of losing weight, and some of them worked out, but most of them I ended up quitting because they're too restrictive or didn't fit in with my lifestyle. And finding out what worked for my body has made it feel so much easier than it has in the past. Information online can be great, but the old saying, trust but verify, is how I approach that. Trust people are telling you the truth and want what's best for you, but verify the information by checking multiple sources and just trying it yourself and seeing how it works. At the end of the day, weight loss isn't a big magical secret. It's pretty much just a math formula. Eat less than your body needs and move more, and you're going to lose weight. Thanks.